Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. I certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you haven't gone to YouTube yet, they have these really cool things over there. They have videos. Now, most of you who subscribe to the Chris Voss Show on all the different channels on iTunes, Spotify, all those different places, you know what? You can see the video versions because you only get audio over on iTunes. You can see the video versions on YouTube. So tell you and your friends, everybody you know, go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. Hit that bell notification because when you hit the bell notification, it indicates that you're a very special, wonderful, warm person and you need more hugs in your life or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you don't. But either then, click that bell notification so you can get all the notifications. And you can see all the great videos. I mean, really, seriously, we have the best guests on the Chris Voss Show. But, I mean, wouldn't you like to see what wonderful faces they have? Go to YouTube. Go to thecvpn.com, the Chris Voss Podcast Network. You subscribe to all 9 podcasts. There's 9 of them. Holy crap. They just make your brain so big that when you emerge from your COVID cocoon, you'll need a bigger cranium. Anyway, we always have the best guests here on the Chris Voss Show. And today I'm excited to have on Jason DeBono. Jason is with NuView Trust. He's a vice president, so he's very smart. And as always, we have him. Jason graduated from the University of Central Florida. He has since acquired 15 years of business experience in the self-directed IRA industry. He's also served as both Director of Business Development and Director of Operations for NuView Trust Company. It's a self-directed custodian of $1.4 billion of assets under custody. Now, in his role as Corporate Vice President, Jason oversees the day-to-day activities of the company. He's heavily recruited to speak on podcasts. He's on one now. And at national events as a subject matter expert in tax advantage investing through retirement accounts. And he's provided continuing education to CPAs, attorneys, and real estate professionals, and a guest speaker at hundreds of investment events and conferences throughout the United States. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, Chris. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on there, Jason. And well, give us some plugs for NuView. Will people look that up on the interwebs?
Well, you know, NuView is a unique company, but our basic business premise is to allow people to use retirement money. And instead of buying stocks and bonds or investing into Wall Street, we give you the ability to invest into Main Street. So you can buy individual pieces of real estate, issue private loans, own private companies. Anything non-publicly traded can be done through us.
And what .com are you guys at?
NuViewTrust.com. NuView with a U, NuView, trust.com.
NuViewTrust.com. So, Jason, give us an origin story. How'd you get in this business? What got you excited about working in this area?
Well, you know, it boils down, Chris, to Dad told me you can't do it, which, as you can imagine, 15 years ago, I was wrapping up college at UCF, and I was looking for a real job. I was working in retail, and I said, you know, I got to go out and find something that is more in the lines of business and finance. And so I went to an internship at UCF, chatted with a bunch of companies, was fortunate to get a good handful of interviews. And I remember getting to NuView and looking on their website thinking, what the heck does this company do? Mm-hmm. You know, IRAs and real estate. And keep in mind that I had interviewed with SeaWorld and Callaway Golf and, you know, companies that I was well aware of their business or product. And so I picked up the phone and called Dad and said, you know, hey, Dad, I know you know what an IRA is. I know you've owned some rental real estate. How does this work? And after a while of getting my dad on the internet, which was its own challenge, he finally said, yeah, it looks like they deal with real estate and IRAs, but, you know, I asked my broker about this and you can't do it. So needless to say, Dad says you can't do it. I went into the interview pretty pumped up, and it was a lot more education. Glenn Mather, our founder and current CEO, he said, you know, do you know what we do as a company? And I, you know, here I was, went behind the ears college kid, nervous as hell. And I just said, my dad said you can't do this. So, I somehow managed to turn my interview into an educational session. But truth be told, I left that interview. I called my dad and gave him some insight into why his broker would tell him he couldn't do it, but the reality of how it worked. And it was my dad's reaction that caused me to ultimately take the job. And here we are 15 years later and nearly $1.5 billion of assets under management, and still loving what I do and enjoying the message I get to spread every day.
There you go. You got the last laugh on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always good when you can one up your old man because, it's always that tit for tat with the dads.
Oh, yeah.
But that's cool.
I get to toss in.
I'm sure he's proud of you. So now I'm seeing the picture behind you on the placard, self-directed IRAs. What is a self-directed IRA for those of us laymen in the consumer area?
Sure. Self-directed IRA is really two things. Number one, it's the self and self-direction means you get to pick your own investments, right? That's the basic premise of a self-directed account. Now you could go to Schwab or Fidelity or TD Ameritrade and they'll give you a self-directed IRA. You can open up your account, it's self-directed, you can log on and you can buy whatever stocks, bonds, and mutual funds they offer. And, for us, that's only half the battle, right? So we give you the ability to not just self-direct, but we give you the ability to self-direct into investments beyond stocks and bonds. So our clients are picking their own investments, but more importantly, they're picking from Main Street investments. So they're not buying stocks and bonds through us. If they want to buy stocks and bonds, they don't need us. They can go to the Schwabs and Fidelities of the world. People come to us because they want to buy a property. They've got retirement money and they say, I don't want to own a stock. I mean, look at the market, over the last 8 weeks. I mean, who in their right mind can make sense out of it? Yet 90% of retirement money sits in it, which seems like quite a disservice especially to those that have the wherewithal to go find their own investments in the real estate or non-public space.
That's awesome. So they can invest in real estate. Real estate, of course, is always usually a great investment. It has its ups and downs, but largely it holds its investment over time. They're certainly not making more real estate, so it is a limited quality product. Even in times of recession, the real estate prices bounce back, and then usually go up from there. I mean, San Francisco's seeing just crazy real estate stuff. It just goes up and down. So people can have more choice, basically, and more control over what they want to invest in.
You got it. Yep.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, one of the problems with me, I spend most of my time investing in donuts, like Daylight Donuts and Krispy Kreme. Most of my portfolio is Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm not talking the stock of Krispy Kreme company. I'm actually talking real donuts. No, I'm just kidding.
So you got to be careful with that. That's a dangerous way to literally eat up all your returns.
Eat up your profits. There you go.
Right.
But I never run out of donuts, so there's that. But so you guys manage this huge portfolio. What's the best? If I'm a consumer out there in the marketplace, and I'm like, okay, so what would be some ways that I can work with NuView? What are some? Am I a client? Am I someone that would be a good prospect for interacting and working with you guys? What sort of criteria would I be looking at for myself to be wanting to get on the phone with you guys?
So for most of our clients, their investments that they make with us mirror in some capacity investments they've made outside their retirement money. So whatever money individual money you have, non-IRA, you have full control over. So most people own a lot of the investments they come to us for, things like property or mortgage notes, private companies. They're already engaging in those types of investments to begin with. So a typical customer of NuView is someone that maybe owns, and I'll use my dad as a prime example. My dad's probably owned 8 or 10 pieces of property over the years. They've all been investments of various types, some raw land, some rentals, right? But he has since acquired 3 properties in his account with us. So he's taken his IRA and he said, well, why aren't I going to duplicate the efforts if I go out and buy a rental property and I know the numbers and it makes me 10 or 12% per year, right? Why wouldn't I do that instead of owning stocks and bonds? And so, a typical client liquidates their stocks and bonds or a portion of them, moves their IRA from Schwab to NuView, and then directs us to go put that money back to work into something like a piece of property or anything non-publicly traded. And I mean, we have over 15,000 unique investments on our platform that our clients have bought and currently hold. So we see a little bit of everything.
This sounds like a really smart thing to do right now because, I was trained to be a stockbroker, and I've been a day trader, and I see what's coming down the line, especially after October 1, when a lot of the PPE stuff expires. I mean, I think it was I'm not going to get the airline right. It's not United. It might have been United, but it's United or America. It's one of the airlines just announced today and gave a federal warning. I forget what they term it. There's a federal warning they give within 60 days that there might be layoffs. And it's about 26,000 or 36,000 people they're anticipating laying off at that one company. The stock market is going to definitely be having a hard time over the next year to 2 years. And I think this is brilliant because moving those investments into something that's more solid like real estate or other things is going to be a lot smarter than having the whims of woohoo, what's going to go on with the crazies and stuff. The election's coming up. Who knows who's going to win? Who knows it doesn't? That's going to have effect on the stock market. You just never know with the stock market sometime in any given day, right?
Well, and you're not kidding. I mean, I'll tell you how good of a stock investor I am. People ask me, well, what do you do with your money? And I tell them, the things I've done that are great are non-stocks. The things I've done that I've swung and missed, embarrassingly bad. If you look at any chart over the last, 90 days or 120 days, and you find the little dip somewhere around the middle of March, that's when I sold the 3 stocks that I owned. And those 3 stocks, honest to God, were Apple, Amazon, and Netflix.
Oh, boy.
And all 3 have since gone on to not just recover, but reach record highs. And I tell that story again, a little bit embarrassed, but it goes back to, I've been in the investment world 15 years. I've done so many things and learned vicariously through so many customers. You would think that, man, I've got enough knowledge behind me to make good, smart choices. And at the end of the day, when it comes to stocks, who in the world would have thought, when the world came crashing down, that somehow miraculously the stock market has recovered?
Yeah, it's weird.
We're facing COVID head on, no different than we were in March. Businesses to some degree, with few exceptions, you have some outliers that have become more successful and benefited from all this. But how does the average lay investor know that? And here I am as a, moderately smart person. I've got education and I've got 15 years experience and I've got thousands of clients that give me all this great insight. And at the end of the day, nobody has a clue. And if you think that people have a clue, it doesn't take but 30 seconds on the Yahoo Finance page to realize that they're like the people that are in financial reporting are like weathermen, right? They tell you what they think will happen. Then the next day they get to tell you what actually happened and suggest that they knew it all along. And, if they don't have a clue what's causing the market to go up and go down, how the heck does the average investor, right?
Yep. And real estate, we've had a lot of real estate investment advisors on the Chris Voss Show over the years. People that have, they do their own real estate investing. They own different properties and stuff like that. And it's a safer place to be than sometimes the stock market, depending upon what's going on, because it might not, it may not go up 100% a day, but you're not going to lose 100% a day. I mean, it's a really solid investment with what you can do with real estate and some of the other things. Is real estate primarily the most type of product that people put into your guys' portfolios, or is there other things?
So it's nearly split a third, and a third, and then there's a little small sliver there. I think we're dating back to math class. I think you can only have 3/3, but there's about a small 10% or so sliver of kind of the miscellaneous. But the 3 big items are real estate, and that's all types of real estate: single family, multifamily, commercial, raw land. We have clients that own boat slips, clients that own burial plots. If it can be deeded, you can own it. Clients that own easement property, meaning you can't actually get a car to it, but you can erect billboards on it because it's along the highway, and that can be an income producing stream. Citrus groves, crop, farm, ag, hunting leases, again, you name it. If it's deeded, you can do it. So that's about a third. A third are private loans. There's a huge world of private lending out there. Some of it's real estate related. Some of it is consumer debt related, business loans, bridge financing. Again, and I personally wrote a loan to a friend of mine that had some credit card debt, made some bad choices, but had a good job and was trying to rebuild his credit and ended up with, about $15,000 worth of high interest debt. And so I was able to step in, consolidate it all, write one loan for 15 grand, get a nice healthy return on my end, 8-10%. And it was about half of what he was paying to the credit card company. So, I'm getting a nice steady return, and he's getting a discount compared to what he was paying. It's a win-win. And so deals like that happen pretty frequently. So loans is the second third, and then the third third, if that is not a dumb statement, is private company investing. So every stock that's public, right? Uber, Lyft, to name a few of the most recent IPO type stocks. But before they went public, they still raise money, and there's hundreds and thousands and millions of private capital raises that happen every single day for private companies, and our clients participate in a lot of those.
We have a lot of Silicon Valley people in our audience in tech, because that's what the Chris Voss Show was originally built on, was tech. If they own stock as an employee in a company, but it's not, they can't action on it. It's like it's still in that period where they can't buy or sell it really, but they're holding it. Is that something they can put in there?
It's possible. So you can't take something you already own personally and put it in your IRA.
Okay.
Because of the tax benefits of an IRA, the IRS doesn't want people dumping all the winners in their IRA and avoiding taxation. But to your question, if they work somewhere and the company is private and the company is going to offer private, a sale of some shares of stock, let's just say $10 a share, their IRA could step in and buy 1,000 shares, and they could put in 10 grand and throw the stock in their retirement account. And if that stock goes public and they make 20 times their money, it's all tax-free in their IRA.
There might be some brilliant ways for some companies to, fund some incentive to employees, have it offer it and go through the IRA. So this is pretty cool. You guys, self-directed custodian with over $1.4 billion in assets. That's pretty darn awesome. And so you guys are based in Florida, is that correct?
Well, we've got two offices. So our trust company and trust charter is in South Dakota. It's just a very good state for trust operations. It's the number one state for trust operations in the U.S. So we have a trust office in South Dakota, but our day-to-day client interaction and activity is done through our administrative office here in Florida.
Let me ask a dumb question. What if you have investments outside of the U.S.? Can those be put in one of your IRAs, or?
Yeah, in most cases they can. Again, if you own it personally today, it probably can't. But if it's something that is an investment that you're going to be making, then it most certainly is something that you can do inside an IRA. Cool.
Real estate, mortgage and notes, cryptocurrency. I'm looking over your website here at NuView Trust, NuView Trust.com. You can even get a free guide. Looks like you can download there. Can I put my cryptocurrency in there then?
You sure can. You can own cryptocurrency and precious metals, cryptocurrency, all inside the account as well.
So even gold and stuff.
Yeah, so you can do any precious metal that's a purity level. So anything numismatic, a coin from the Titanic can't be held, but a golden eagle certainly could.
Okay. What about like aluminum? I have a lot of Mountain Dew cans kicking around here. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know where you'd store. We certainly don't take the empty ones, Chris.
The empty ones? Oh, it's just the full ones? Okay, all right. Well, there was a time in my life I probably could have invested in that. I own so much of it. Cryptocurrency. A lot of our audience is into cryptocurrency. We have the Cryptocurrency Podcast, of course. And I know a lot of my friends are investors in cryptocurrency, and this might be a really brilliant way for them to do their investments because they're into everything. Like I've got friends that, they're into, like I could barely keep track of what Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin is. And a few of the other ones, but they're like into everything. They're like deep into it, and they monitor every day, and they're buying and selling. So this might be a really brilliant way for them to get those. Now, the beauty of an IRA for people that are the laymen, give me the rundown on why that's important, how that saves you money, tax purposes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, you hit it, Chris. I mean, IRAs are so powerful from a tax standpoint, and so one of the things that we talk about is building wealth. Is so many people think that building wealth is about making good investments. That's why the wealthy get wealthy, is they make good investments. And I'll tell you, having done this the last 15 years, it couldn't be farther from the truth. The wealthy get wealthy for two reasons. Number one, they have money to invest. And number two, they make sure that it's in the best vehicle before making the investment. And then the latter part, the least important part, is the investments they make are good, right? They have access to a lot better stuff than we get to put our paws on. But what they do is they make sure that the vehicles are right. And so what an IRA is, very simple, is it's a tool that it's basically a tool that you put money away in, right? It's a vehicle, if you will, an account type. And the deal you make with the IRS is you will not take that money out until you're 59 and a half. So you're going to earmark it for retirement. And the IRS agrees, if you do that, to not tax you, right, year over year. And they'll even give you the chance to pay the tax up front in a Roth, or pay the tax when you take it out. So the deal you're making is basically, I'll give it up for a longer period of time, but I don't have to pay tax. And if it's okay to take an extra minute on this question, I can illustrate how powerful that is in dollars, because I think if people realized it, so here's the difference between wealthy people and I'll say poor people. I don't mean any, anything disrespectful by that, but rich people and not rich people. So most people go out and they say, all right, I'm going to take $1, right? And let's assume you're going to double it every year for 20 years, right? So $1 becomes $2, $2 becomes $4, $4 becomes $8, and you do that down the road 20 years. The average person that doesn't understand how tax benefits work will just do it in whatever vehicle it is, which is their personal money, and they'll just pay the tax bill along the way and think they're doing great. And they'll turn that dollar at the end of 20 years, assuming they're at a 25% tax rate, they will turn that dollar into $78,000.
Wow.
Now, at face value, it sounds like, damn, that's pretty darn good, Chris, right? You're a good investor. You're smart. You just took $1, and over 20 years, you made it worth 78 grand. Heck, that's pretty darn awesome. What they don't realize is that if they took the same dollar, made the same investments that doubled every year, but instead of putting it in their personal name, they put it into a tax advantage vehicle like an IRA that didn't pay that 25% tax every year. At the end of 20 years, instead of having $78,000, they'll have $1,040,000.
Wow. That's quite a bit of difference.
Yeah. So when you let that sink in, right? Same investor, same amount of money, same investment, but just by simply putting it into a tax advantage vehicle first, you end up with over $1 million. And so, when people wonder why the wealthy stay wealthy, it's because they've got tax advisors that study this stuff every day. And the average person, unless they're fortunate enough to be on a show and listening to your podcast and hear stuff like this, they'll go on through life thinking that turning $1 into $78,000 is fantastic. And it is in its own regard. But turning $1 into $1 million for the same work and effort is where people really want to be and should be. And that's just the difference between understanding the tax system and not.
That's awesome. That's really important. And you got to make your money work smart. I mean, you work hard for your money, make your money work smart. Did I just make a t-shirt? I notice here you also work with financial professionals, brokers and dealers, as giving them an opportunity to work with you guys at doing stuff with you guys.
Yeah, so we've got two divisions. So, we talk a lot about what individuals can do and what a self-directed account is. But we also have a division that services financial advisor, broker dealer, RIA, registered investment advisory type firms. These are all licensed financial, advisors to some regard. And we give them we provide back office custody for alternative products they've vetted out. So, a lot of times people go to kind of your wirehouse investment advisors. So they go to Merrill Lynch or they go to Edward Jones. And what people don't realize is those groups are really just packaging up stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and providing them to you. And I'm not suggesting they don't earn their value and aren't worthwhile. There's a lot of really good advisors that do, if I'd have had an advisor, I probably wouldn't have sold my stocks like an idiot, right? They would have been there to tell me not to do it.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20.
But there's a big area of independent financial advisors. So registered investment advisors or independent broker dealer firms that are not tied to a wirehouse. They're completely independent. So they can offer you both financial product that's publicly traded, right? Just like a clearinghouse type advisor could. But they also tend to have anywhere from 3 to 10 or 12 products that are really prepackaged alternative products, so that they can offer you. So they may say, Chris, here's you're in Idaho, here's a real estate fund that owns 12 apartment complexes in Idaho. And so you don't have to go find the deal, you don't have to vet it out, but you can look and say, yeah, I know those geographic areas, I know the towns that these properties exist in, I know the communities that they're in, I may even drive by a few of them every day. And so you may opt to put your money into that deal, so that you're exposed to real estate, but you're not exposed to it like a publicly traded REIT, right? Small exposure, a lot more control and understanding. And financial advisors provide those types of opportunities, some regional, some national, to their clients. And so we serve as a back-end custodial solution to offer that. So if your advisor put that in front of you and you said, yeah, I want to go invest into it with my IRA, you need someone like NuView to provide the custody for that. And that's the service we provide for advisors.
That sounds awesome, Sauce. You definitely want to diversify. Now, I noticed here on you guys' website, you guys are actually holding a 2-day virtual real estate investors conference on July 16th through the 17th.
Yeah, so next Thursday and Friday, we like everyone else, we're adjusting and adapting to the digital age, and we've always done a good amount of webinar and digitally produced content, but this is the second time that we're putting together an asset specific. I think we've got 6 different speakers that are coming in to talk about real estate in all different capacities, and to help educate people that from novices that are just trying to understand how it works, to experts that may know a lot about real estate but maybe want to hear some new and unique strategies. But yeah, that's coming up next Thursday and Friday, and looking forward to that. We'll have 6 different speakers, and then we'll have Q&A with each one of them in a panel form, so you can ask your questions directly to them.
There you go, guys. You can go to NuViewTrust.com. That's NuView Trust.com. And 2-day virtual real estate conference. You can get to know these guys better, get to know what they do, get involved with them, listen to their speakers, learn some better ways to diversify and new world of investment options that you can take and do there. This is pretty darn awesome. Like I say, people work so hard for their money. You've got to make your money work smart, and avoiding tax issues, and being able to save some tax money and then use that money that you would normally spend in taxes to expand your investments and earn interest on them is super important. It'll make all the difference for you in the world. So anything more we should know about who you guys are and what you do?
Well, we could sit here and talk for hours and hours on the subject, but for the sake and sanity of everybody listening, I don't know there's a whole lot of additional nuggets to drop unless you think there's some additional investments that your listeners may be, interested a tad bit more in, but otherwise, no, I think we've covered all the bases.
All right. I like the cryptocurrency part of it. I know real estate, if I was in the market right now, I'd probably move back into real estate or different safer investments. I was really, I saw what happened in 2008, and that, or at least diversify. And it looks like you guys have sort of forms and financial calculators on your website where people can go there and get the information. They can, of course, call you guys up, talk to a representative, and get to know you guys better and see how you guys can help them. Right?
Of course. Yeah. And,
there you go.
Diversity is key. You're absolutely right.
There you go. You can even call them toll free, 1-877-259-3256. So there you go. And you can get a free e-guide. So that's always good. Free. I like free stuff. I'm going to download just to get it. So go to NuViewTrust.com. That's NuView Trust.com. And it sounds like you guys are doing some wonderful things over there.
Yeah, we're working hard at it and continuing to educate people on what their real choice looks like. And, we just want clients to make informed decisions. If you know that real estate's an option and you prefer stocks and bonds, then it's an informed decision. And if that's where you think your money is best spent, put it to work where you think. I just hate to see the masses that are out there stuck in stocks, bonds, mutual funds without a clue. They're just crossing their fingers and hoping and praying that the market miraculously goes up, and boy, that's a scary way to kind of think about getting to retirement. And it's a scary way to think about your retirement dollars, which are working, really from a tax standpoint, the best for you. You want to make sure that the investments they're in are working equally as good for them.
Definitely. I think a lot of my folks who are in cryptocurrency, this would be a brilliant thing. I'm going to refer to a bunch of them because I know I'm pretty sure they're all just trading. So they're not getting any tax benefits off of.
Yeah, they're probably getting, the opposite, right? I mean, they're trading short term and paying a premium in taxes, that 25%. I mean, the benefit to having a good year is you make more money. The drawback to having a good year is you put yourself in a higher tax bracket. So, when you do stuff in an IRA, it's the only place that you can win the investment game, which is generate lots of return and not lose the tax game, which is you don't drive your tax rate up as a result. So yeah, we got a lot of clients using, IRAs for cryptocurrency, and there's a lot of opportunity there. We don't get involved in the physical crypto or the storage. We help you kind of set up a structure that gives you the full trading control, and you can kind of go out and set up your own, accounts and wallets and, manage that all yourself. So it's a pretty cool opportunity and certainly something that's been growing over the years, that's for sure.
I think that would be brilliant for people in the cryptocurrency business because I know they're always gaming the system. Bitcoin will go up and then it'll go down. They're always trying to buy on the different curves and do different things. And a lot of people don't realize when you take those gains, that they're taxable. And you've got to think, well, okay, I made $10,000 in that stock, but then you're like, oh wait, there's taxes got to come out of that.
Yep.
So it's definitely something that impacts it there. So thanks, Jason, for being on the show and sharing this data with us. Everyone get a chance, give them a call up, check out that webinar they're taking and having. And of course, you can go to their website at NuView. I lost my contact there, NuViewTrust.com. I'm getting old where the small print just doesn't work for me anymore. I have to blow everything up really huge. NuViewTrust.com. That's NuView Trust.com. Check them out. Thanks to my audience for tuning in. We certainly appreciate you guys being here. Go to, of course, the ECVPN, refer the show to Chris Voss Podcast Network.com. Tell them to go there, sign up for all 9 of the podcasts. Holy crap, there's so many. And those of you who've been listening to this on the audio version, go to our video version at youtube.com or go to the post on the Chris Voss Show. You can see it there. Thanks to my audience for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.